What's up, y'all? And hello from Ember. We're just having a little father son kayak day out here on the lake. Oh, God, these are some good shots, dude. These are some real good shots, my friend. Oh, my God, look at that. Father and son. These are such good shots. Anyways, I'm hopping on because I wanted to pop in and just share a little some Father's Day thoughts. Oh, I kind of like that. Oh, I do like that. I like that a lot. Um, yeah, I just want to share some Father's Day thoughts. If you're watching this video, you may have heard the song that I posted called "One Good Dad," and that was a song that I wrote in response to really um, exes of mine. I've had a couple of exes who have shared with me how much they've missed their dads in their life. They both had good relationships with their dads, and watching how much their father's legacy lives on even after uh even after he's gone kind of inspired the idea of how much one good dad can do. That it's possible to do more in your death than other living people are doing while they're alive, and that's a real accomplishment. um as far as my life, the role of the father in my own life is very near and dear to my own heart, just because of immigration regulations causing me to grow up without a father from about age 8 onward. I have a relationship with my dad now these days, and we catch up on Sundays from across the ocean, from central North Carolina to the Kingdom of Eswatini in southern Africa. And it's one of my favorite parts of the week because we get to just catch up and I get to learn about his heart. And as much as there's still, wounding that I have from that fatherless, that hole that's inside of me, it's great to be able to address that and get to know who my dad is. Like, who is he? I come from him. I know we share so many similarities. What was his relationship with his dad? How's that different or the same as his relationship with me? What does he believe in? When he doesn't know what to do, who is he praying to? What does he pray for? Where does he draw his internal sense of power from? All these really important things. And one thing that's been the biggest form of healing for me as I've come to just address certain of those woundings that have happened from growing up without a dad around is asking myself what my inner child would have wanted growing up, what he needed. Not just wanted, but what he needed. Eh, Oh, that's the shot. That's the angle. That's what we want. What he needed. And I I sat down one time and I just had this realization. It was like a meditation where I was like, okay, 9-year-old Ricky, 8-year-old Ricky, what do you need from an adult father figure? And it was very clear. It was, I need someone who's going to vow to never let harm befall me, even harm from myself. And from that point, it made me realize that as men, we're supposed to love in vows and in boundaries. We're supposed to love in a way that says, as long as I'm around, I will not let harm befall you. And then thinking about it from that angle, just testing that theory, well, all of a sudden it makes marriage vows makes so much sense. It's the masculine asking a feminine partner, submitting to her, dropping to one knee and asking for her to join him in the journey of life, and then taking on that responsibility in the journey of life, and then making a vow that you are within my boundaries, meaning that I take you as my responsibility. And as long as I am here, I will not let harm befall you, not even letting you harm yourself. This is a massively valuable an important lesson today, because the sickness of our current world and our political strife, turmoil, all of that is a direct result of a socio-cultural crying out for that father at a time where we spent so much time challenging the patriarchy and challenging and calling out the wrong forms of masculinity without providing enough of the fill-in forms of it, the good things that we need to retain and chisel and evolve. We haven't spent nearly enough time describing what that is, and as a result, people have had this void. They've had a father wounding in themselves, and as a result, they're willing to settle for a toxic form of fatherhood in a government leader who chooses to disrespect our Constitution and is not a good role model for anyone. Regardless of what your political views are, I'm not even a Republican or a Democrat. I don't consider myself a liberal or conservative, and I am conservative curious, and I'm conservative. What would you say? Conservative. Oh, whatever the word, empathetic. I guess I understand why conservatives want to stand up for things like family values and personal responsibility. I think those are very good things that are mature things. But people have been so hungry for some of those standards that they've attached themselves to this a parasitic version, not even a version of those values. They've attached themselves to a boat, a sinking ship, a dead vessel, an awful, flaming, hate-filled machine, just because on the side it comes with a little bit of those values that they want. Um, so it's hugely important that we talk about how the role of the patriarch affects our current world, especially this Father's Day. As a culture, when we spend our times challenging the patriarchy, and we haven't spent enough time appreciating our patriarchs, describing the good forms of patriarchy, and just understanding where and why the patriarchy comes from. It comes from, at its best, at its most altruistic, it's a relationship of vows and boundaries. And if you want to understand boundaries, boundaries mean the extent of what is within your authority and under your responsibility. Your property values, if you're a homeowner, at the end of your property line, that's the end of what you have responsibility for. It's the end of what you have authority over. Authority and responsibility are the two scales that make up the balance of boundaries. And what patriarchal love at its best is supposed to say, I take you within my boundaries, meaning I take responsibility for you. Now, within that responsibility, in order for me to meet it responsibly, appropriately, effectively, I have to have the authority to balance it. And I think what's happened over the years is men, in our dysfunction, in our shortcomings, we've leaned too far into the authority and have kind of jettisoned the responsibility that we need to have, which is a human condition. It's a human default. People have a default to eschewing or dispelling the responsibilities and attaching more unwarranted authority to themselves as a default. It takes high integrity to be able to do both with balance and with responsibility. And so, as a result, and if you want to know what that looks like, when someone has more responsibility than they have authority, well, if you take that pole all the way to its end, that becomes slavery. On the other end, when someone has all authority but no responsibility, well, that becomes a tyrant, where all the responsibilities and the negative outcomes, they even call these externalities, get trickled down to other people or they get forced on to other people. That's what you call a tyrant. But if you have both of them together, then you can have a balanced responsibility. And we don't have these public conversations. We don't have conversations about the responsibilities that men have jettisoned. We don't have conversations about what's supposed to be the replacement form of masculinity ever. But if we decided that some of it is toxic. Um, so I just wanted to make this video dedicated to all the dads out there who are in their children's lives and are really trying to do the most important thing they can do, which is to exemplify the attitude of, as long as I am around, I will not let harm befall you. I won't even let you harm yourself. Hey, bud, I need you to calm down. Let's have a seat, okay? We're good. We're good, buddy. Good job. Good job. So, on that note, y'all have an amazing Father's Day. I'm out here. I'm going to have a great Father's Day with my son. Isn't that right, son? One day they'll be human, but I'm so happy with this, my furry guy right now. He's such a good boy. We're having such a good time kayaking out here right now. So right now we got a sunset over that way, but in about probably about 10 minutes, the moon is going to be coming up from right over that way. We got a full moon tonight. They're calling it a strawberry moon in Scorpio. So I don't know what that necessarily means, but for any of y'all who are into astrology, any of that stuff, something to pay attention to. I'm gonna go look up if there are any good full moon and Scorpio rituals I can do just to help me commune with the greater cosmos even more. But on that note, have a good week and go be thankful to a father. Tell them they're doing a good job. It's the toughest job in the well, mother is probably the toughest job in the world. Having been neither a mother nor a father, I would guess that mother is the toughest job in the world. But father is a close second place. So I hope all the fathers get celebrated. And shout out, this is especially dedicated to one of my good friends and one of my brothers, an actual frat brother, but just a good friend, Mr. Jake Fathery. If you can believe it, on this Father's Day, we've got a guy named Jake Fathery who just welcomed a new little baby girl into his life last week. I need to read the text again. I think he said Daisy Bennett. Daisy Bennett, I believe is her name. But Jake, forgive me, man. I need to look at the name again. But this is dedicated to him. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope y'all have a great rest of your week. An awesome full moon. A happy Father's Day. And I can't wait to drop more videos like this. I think this is beautiful. This is great. Look at that. Look at that, bud. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. It's you being a good boy. Y'all take it easy.